speaker behind the topic. Our June monthly meeting this month was at Macy's Systems and Technology with our speaker Mike Williams talking about the turning point. So let's welcome Mike Williams.
Hi Felicia, how's things going?
Everything's going great with me. How everything's going with you?
Everything's going good. Can't complain. We just had a good session here on the turning point and really had a good crowd and had a good time presenting.
So talking about the turning point tonight, you want to give us a little information and insight about the actual topic itself?
Yeah, the turning point is really about individuals looking at themselves and doing a self-assessment, a SWOT analysis, if you will, about where they are in their careers and whether or not they've moved horizontally across, where they're not really moving vertically up. So you have to get to a point and make a decision, is that where you want to be? And then when you look at 1 year, 2 years down the road, what things you need to change about your career, about your skill sets, about your profession that you need to do in order to move to that next level. So the turning point is really getting to that point of making that decision. And you know, the presentation covered a lot of those things and a lot of critical skills that you needed. And I thought it was a good session, but I think it's something that everyone should really need to know.
Okay, so far as everyone needs to know, I want to know, how did you apply some of the things that you presented tonight in your career? Because remember, this is the speaker behind the topic.
That's an easy question for me because, you know, you kind of live with, you know, I walk the walk and talk the talk, and I take my own advice on a regular basis. So one of the things I mentioned was a tool that I called the Service Quality Circle. And the Service Quality Circle is really about what I call a W3H method. It's really asking a question about what it is you manage, what it is you're trying to measure, you know, who actually owns it or who's accountable for it, and then how is it being done through documentation, through process, and then when do you recognize an opportunity to change or make adjustments. So that's something I use that you can use in your everyday life, whether it's project management or whatever. The other thing too I talked about was just the different skill sets. Process, leadership, financials, all those things are things that you really need to know and understand across the board, especially if you're looking to move up. Financials is one of the things, you got to be able to speak the language of the business. And if you can't, you have a hard time progressing to that next level. So those are the things we covered, and I can tell you I use those in my everyday life.
So even in your everyday life, you know, give us how you really got into IT. When did you start your IT career?
I've been in IT for a while now, and actually I'm probably one of the younger folks who've been in IT over 25 years. I started IT about 5 or 6 months after high school. I started working for UPS, and I got interviewed for a job. I was still in trade school. I went to a trade school called TPI, it was Computer Processing Institute. And it's, ironically, myself and about 6 other classmates all interviewed for the same job. It was a part-time job, mounting tapes and doing a print pool. Now, mind you, I probably had about 2 guys in my class, probably the 5 other people that are much smarter than I was. But somehow I got the job. So I don't know what I said in the interview or what. Somehow I got the job. And I think it was because they saw something in me that I probably didn't see in myself. And I started working part-time for a year. Within a year, I went full-time. I started working second shift. And then after that, I went on first shift. And then within a year, I became the lead operator. Then within another year, I went upstairs to mainframe system program. I was doing good downstairs, and they said they had a training position, and they wanted me to come up, and I was like the first one to do that. And then within, I think, 3 years, I was running the group, a large part of the group, and then I started going on to various assignments. So early on, my career kind of sped up, and I kind of grew up rather quickly in terms of IT. And I've taken on anything within IT, anything from teaching leadership classes to just IT work as well, or just M&A type work. So I've been doing it for a while, and it's been a rewarding career.
25 years. 25 years IT.
Over 25 years.
Mike, you look like you're 30.
Yeah, at least you think so.
I think a lot of people
I don't feel that way.
So not at all, huh?
Yeah.
Now, in the presentation tonight, there were several questions where people were
Sure.
talking about negotiation skills, and you alluded to the fact that you're a master negotiator. So can you just give us some key things people can use, maybe one or two things people can use when they're trying to negotiate anything?
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of being a master negotiator. A lot of us like to think we are, but none of us are. But you have to understand going into something what it is that you're after, and then what it is that you're willing to give up. And usually you have to have a ceiling and floor, just like everything else. So, and then also knowing who it is you're talking to. Because a lot of times, just by knowing who you're talking to, who you have to negotiate with, you have an advantage, because if you know the person well enough, you know the things that they'll accept or the things that they won't. But really, you shouldn't go into any situation looking to win. It's all about finding a win-win on both sides, and I truly mean that. And a lot of times, you may walk away thinking you got an advantage, but if that's what you're doing, it's not really a negotiation. It's basically you trying to take advantage or have the leg up. But if you really go in it with a win-win attitude and trying to find the benefit on both sides, then I think you have a better chance. So my negotiation method is understanding who it is I'm talking to, then understanding what it is I want, and then having a ceiling and floor in terms of what I would accept and what I want.
Okay. Now, you know, we talked about the topic of the turning point when it came to a person's career. Can people easily apply this in their personal lives, you know, outside of the workplace, with their everyday families or things that they do outside of the job?
Yeah, absolutely. The turning point, everyone, whether it's personally, professionally, you're going to reach a turning point where you're at a point, you're just at a point in your life where you don't feel things are headed in the right direction. That can be personally, whether it's with a relationship where you've been with an individual or a person for 9 years and you haven't been married, and your point is, well, when am I going to get married? Or if I'm going to get married? And if not, is it this person? You know, I've been here 9, 10 years and nothing's happened yet. So you got to start making that decision, because at that point you're thinking, well, where I want to be a year from now, 2 years from now. I don't want to keep being with this person another 5 years and we're not married. So that happens in your personal life as well as in your professional life. So that applies to a whole lot of things, that you got to come to a point and make a decision one way or the other.
Yeah, that 9 or 10 years, yeah, that's just not going to do these days.
No, it's not. It's not. It really isn't. But some people will accept that, and some people are comfortable. So different strokes for different folks.
That's true. That's so true. And then also, for as you yourself, I know you are a mentor. I know you probably formally mentor people. You informally mentor me, and I appreciate everything that you do. So tell me, what joy or satisfaction do you get out of that? Is it a personal satisfaction you get, or what is it?
It's definitely a personal satisfaction. Actually, I feel a little bit guilty, because people always look at it and say, you're mentoring these folks and it's a great thing. What they don't recognize is that it's something I'm passionate about, and I love it. I love when people take on a different role. I love when people are able to kind of get promoted and really, you know, like we always say, take that next step and get on to that next level. And that's what I'm always most proud of. When I see that, I'm happier than that person is for themselves, because when you look at a person coming in, and if you can work with that person, because you never make people smarter or better, what you do is enable them to be successful. You can coach and mentor and direct them, but they already have those skills inherent within them already. So you just got to bring that out. And a lot of folks are just stuck in that comfort zone, and you have to challenge the folks. And that's what I get a joy and passion out of, is because when I see people move on and they do something, even when a lot of folks are telling them, you know, that person's nothing, they can't do anything. And when they get that promotion and I see that, it's just really them saying, yeah, you know what, I told you so. And I'm really rooting for them, because they didn't know they can do it themselves. But sometimes I got to say I told you so for them, because they won't do it. But that's what I really love about, you know, the whole point about mentoring and coaching. And lastly, I think it's important for people like myself and others who get in a particular position, that we not forget that we were once those people that are trying to get up the ladder as well. Absolutely. That we were the operators, we were the print pool people. And that's one thing I don't forget, and somehow some of us do, but I think you know, is something that we shouldn't forget.
Exactly. You're absolutely correct on that. Any last parting words you would like to leave all of our viewers with?
No, I think, you know, for me, it's important that everyone really takes a hard look at where they are within their careers, within their life, and really ask the question whether or not that's where they want to be. And it doesn't mean you're always going to map out something that you're just going to get there overnight. It doesn't happen that way. And you're going to have your challenges. But you have to be comfortable with where you are. And if you're not comfortable with where you are, the question is, what are you going to do about it? Because if you're just going to talk about being uncomfortable, then it's just you're complaining and you're whining. But if you're going to talk about it, recognize it, and put a plan in motion to change it, then you're on the road to doing something bigger and better. So that's the difference between the two. And I would tell everyone, recognize where you are and see if you're happy. If you're not happy, look to change it.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. And those are some great parting words here with our speaker behind the topic, Mike Williams, speaking at our June meeting at Macy's Systems and Technology on the Turning Point. Thank you.